and we are so happy to have Adam Alexander join us once again today to update us on his life, of course, and to talk about those new plans that you have for February. So thank you so much for joining us. It's really great to see you here again. Okay, so for folks who might not know your story, you enlisted in the Army back in 2008, and you went overseas with the 432nd. Tell us what happened in 2011.
So I was deployed as part of a provincial reconstruction team. So I was in the province of Paktia in Afghanistan, and our job was to help kind of legitimize the newly formed democratically elected government. And we did that by identifying and recommending projects for infrastructure and healthcare, public works, whatever, in the area, and funding those. And during the course of our deployment, our small fire base was attempted to be overran by insurgents. And during the course of the fight that ensued, I was shot in the head by a sniper, pretty much right between the eyes, and came out the right side of my head. And I was told I was given a 5% chance to live. And luckily all the stars aligned and they got me out of there on a medevac helicopter and to a field hospital, and then to Germany and back to the States. And after several surgeries and
a lot of rehabilitation, yeah, a lot of rehabilitation. Tell us what you remember about those initial days and months after your injury.
The first memory that I really formed was when I got to Walter Reed in Bethesda, Maryland. But I was they removed the breathing tubes and stuff in Afghanistan, and I was actually able to talk to my parents and fiance at the time, now wife, while I was in Germany, but I have no recollection of it. And then when I got to Walter Reed, they did some more extensive reconstructive surgeries and started the rehabilitation process. And that's when the lights kind of turned back on and I started making more memories. So I woke up in Bethesda, Maryland, basically several days later. My family was there, and I was completely convinced that they were just going to patch me up and send me back. So I actually had a high-ranking Army officer that came to visit me and present me with a Purple Heart, write me a note that said I didn't have to go back.
So you received that Purple Heart, of course. You've received a slew of accolades as well. You were Veteran of the Year for Disabled American Veterans a couple of years ago, Combat Action Badge as well, and the Army Commendation Medal with Valor. Do you consider any of these your biggest accomplishment? They're all so amazing.
Not really. I mean, the awards and accolades, it was never about that, but proud to have served. And proud to serve in the capacity that I did. I joined the Army because I wanted to deploy and do my part. And I'm honored and feel privileged to have gotten the chance and to do it with some of the very best.
And we thank you for your service as well, definitely. You've talked about how you've made your mess your mission. Tell us how you've lived that in the years since.
Yeah, try not to get too down on myself or throw pity party per se, but a lot of people ask me how you can have such a good attitude after losing an eye and a substantial chunk of brain matter. But I guess the most common sense answer to you is, how could you have a bad attitude when you still have yours? So it can always be worse. When I enlisted, I gave an oath that I would defend the Constitution and the country with my life if necessary, and I'm proud and happy that I was able to get out of there alive. So I feel like I got off pretty easy, having just lost an eye and some brain matter. But
you've worked as an advocate too for other veterans. You even have a program called The Outpost. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, me and he was actually my deputy commander in Afghanistan. He was lieutenant colonel at the time. And he's also in the same DIV chapter as me here in Oshkosh, chapter 17. we started this cable access show that kind of highlights the DAV's mission in the area, and we bring on members of our chapter and other local veterans and people in the veteran community to tell their stories and kind of be custodians of their stories, as well as highlight good things that are going on in the area.
All right, tell us about your February plans now. You are going to the Super Bowl. How'd you find out about that?
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I got a call a while ago from DAV headquarters asking if I'd like to be considered for an opportunity to win a trip to the Super Bowl. And I said, of course, obviously. And then probably about last week, I got a call saying that they'd like DAV and USAA would like to do a Zoom call and hear a little bit more about my story and help them make a decision. When I got on the call, they told me it was between me and another person, and they were gonna settle it by picking a number between 1 and 100, and whoever was closest got to go. So I said 29 because my daughter's birthday is March 29th, and my wife and I's anniversary is September 29th. So 29 is kind of my lucky number, and he said that was it, right on the nose. So I'm going to the Super Bowl, and I almost fell out of my chair.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. TJ Watt actually called you some really nice compliments. He said things like that you're selfless, that you embody qualities of strength and resiliency. Such high compliments from him. That's got to be cool to hear. So exciting. Who are you taking to Vegas with you?
I'm going to be taking my wife's father. My first choice was obviously my wife, but she does not do crowds and being the center of attention. So she wanted no part to do with all of this. So in a sense, I figured it was kind of her ticket to decide what to do with. And her dad's a Vietnam era Army veteran and a huge football fan. So it meant a lot to her to give him the opportunity, and so I'm going to take him along with me, and we're going to have a great time.
To be clear, you're a Packers fan. I know that from reading a little bit about you. But who would you like to see in the Super Bowl, and who would you like to see win?
At this point, I'm pulling for the Lions because they're fellow NFC North team, and they're the underdog, and I'm all about beating the odds.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Enjoy your time at the Super Bowl in Las Vegas with your father-in-law. And we thank you, Adam Alexander, for sharing your story and updating us on your life.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.